Why don't you want me anymore?
Why don't you want me anymore? She asked it at 11:47 p.m. in the dark, her voice small and unfamiliar. My wife, the woman I'd built a life with, the woman who used to laugh so hard she'd snort, who danced in the kitchen when she thought no one was watching, who held my face in her hands on our wedding day and said, "You're my forever." I smiled. Not because I was happy, not because I was cruel. I smiled because I finally had an answer that was true. Because you gave away what was mine. She started crying, but I didn't feel anything. And that's when I knew the man she married had already died. Let me take you back before the silence, before the separate beds, before the woman I loved became a stranger sleeping 3 feet away. We met in college, University of Washington, sophomore year. She was a psychology major, I was engineering. Total cliché, right? She was at a party I didn't want to be at. I was the guy in the corner with a beer I wasn't drinking, waiting for my roommate to stop hitting on someone so we could leave. She walked up to me. She said, "You look like you'd rather be literally anywhere else." I laughed, she laughed. We talked for 4 hours about everything: death, space, whether dogs actually love us or just tolerate us for food. She had this way of tilting her head when she listened, like your words were the only thing in the universe that mattered. I fell for her that night, not because she was beautiful, though she was, but because she made me feel seen in a way I'd never experienced before. We started dating a month later, married at 26. Bought a house at 29, we had plans, kids, travel, growing old on a porch somewhere arguing about whose turn it was to feed the cat. She was my best friend. I remember our wedding day like it was yesterday. She cried during her vows, not delicate tears, full sobbing. She could barely get the words out. I promise to love you when it's easy and when it's hard. I promise to choose you every single day. I believed her. God, I believed her. The first few years were good, really good. We had our fights, sure, who doesn't, but we always came back to each other. We had this rule, never go to bed angry, so we'd stay up until 2, 3 in the morning sometimes, hashing things out until we remembered why we chose each other in the first place. We'd make love after those fights. Intense, reconnecting, urgent love, like we were reminding each other that we were on the same team. I thought we were unbreakable. But somewhere between year 7 and year 9 of our marriage, I started noticing things. Little things. She started going to the gym more, which was great. She'd always wanted to get healthier. But then it was 5 times a week, then 6. She bought new workout clothes, expensive ones, Lululemon, Gymshark, outfits that cost more than my entire wardrobe. She started wearing makeup to the gym. Full makeup, mascara, lip gloss for a workout. I asked her about it once, casually, you getting ready for a photo shoot or just hitting the treadmill? She laughed it off, I just want to feel good about myself, is that a crime? It wasn't, so I dropped it. She was on her phone constantly, I mean we all are, right? But this was different. She'd smile at the screen, bite her lip. Her eyes would light up in a way I hadn't seen in months when she looked at me. Then she'd see me watching and click it off. Fast, too fast. Just a meme from Rachel, she'd say. Rachel was her best friend since high school. I never questioned it. I should have. Then the sex changed, or stopped really. We went from 3, 4 times a week to once a month, then once every 6 weeks. She'd say she was tired, stressed, hormones, work was crazy, she had a headache, she'd eaten too much at dinner. The list of excuses grew longer and more creative. I didn't push, I'm not that guy, consent matters, enthusiasm matters, I didn't want duty sex. I wanted her to want me the way she used to. But when we did have sex, she wasn't there. Eyes closed the whole time, no eye contact, No kissing, mechanical, robotic, like she was fulfilling an obligation, checking a box, maintaining the illusion of a functional marriage. Afterwards, she'd shower immediately, every time. Long showers, 20-30 minutes, like she was washing me off, washing away evidence, washing away guilt. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was being paranoid, insecure. Marriage goes through phases, right? This was just a phase. It wasn't. Then came the business trip. She said she had a conference in San Diego, 3 days, marketing strategy workshop for her firm. She'd been excited about it for weeks, talked about it constantly, bought new outfits, got her nails done, a fresh wax. She mentioned it casually like it was nothing. Got a wax today, don't want to feel like a gorilla in the hotel pool. Her company conference had a pool, that made sense. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything of a lot of things. The night before she left, she kissed me on the cheek. Not the lips, the cheek. Like I was her brother, her roommate, a colleague. She used to kiss me like she was trying to crawl inside me, like I was air and she'd been drowning. Now I was furniture, wallpaper, background noise in her life. She left early Thursday morning. I drove her to the airport. She was giddy, practically vibrating with excitement. I told myself it was because she loved her job, loved learning, loved networking. I was so fucking naive. Day 2 of her trip, I got a text. 2:47 a.m. I was asleep. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Groggy, half-dreaming, I picked it up, thinking maybe it was her, time zone confusion or something. Maybe she couldn't sleep and wanted to hear my voice. It wasn't her. It was from a number I didn't recognize, a 425 area code, Seattle area. The message said, "Thought you should know I'm sorry." And then a photo. I stared at my screen, waiting for it to load. My internet was slow. Those few seconds felt like hours. And then I saw it. It was my wife. In a hotel room. Not alone. She was sitting on a bed, laughing, wine glass in hand. Red wine. She hated red wine, always said it gave her headaches. But there she was, drinking it, smiling, glowing. Wearing a black dress I'd never seen before. Low cut, elegant, sexy, the kind of dress you wear when you want to be undressed. And next to her, arm around her waist, pulling her close, hand resting possessively on her hip, was a man. Younger than me, maybe 30, fit, tan, the kind of guy who probably posted shirtless gym selfies and called it motivation, smiling like he'd won something, like he owned something. He owned my wife. I stared at that photo for 20 minutes, maybe longer. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. My brain just stopped processing reality. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be my wife. My wife who cried at dog food commercials. My wife who insisted on saying "I love you" every time we hung up the phone, even if we just talked 5 minutes ago. My wife who promised to choose me every single day. But it was her, no question, same smile, same laugh lines, same small scar on her shoulder from when she fell off a bike at 12. Then I scrolled up, the message thread continued, more texts from the unknown number. "I'm her coworker's husband. He found texts between your wife and my husband on his old iPad, synced to his iCloud. They've been seeing each other for 8 months. I'm filing for divorce. Thought you deserved to know. I'm so sorry. No one should find out this way, but you needed to know." 8 months. Not a mistake, not a drunken kiss at a Christmas party, not a moment of weakness. 8 fucking months. 240 days of lies, of looking me in the eyes and saying "I love you" while texting him, of kissing me goodbye while planning when she'd see him next, of sleeping next to me while dreaming of him. I didn't call her, didn't text, didn't scream, didn't throw my phone across the room. I got up, walked into my office, sat down at my computer and started looking. Phone records, cloud backups, location history, bank statements, credit card bills. She'd been sloppy, or maybe she just didn't think I'd ever check. Maybe she didn't think I was smart enough, observant enough. Maybe she thought I was so blindly in love that I'd never question her. I found everything. Texts going back to February, 8 months ago. Deleted from her phone but backed up to our shared iCloud account she forgot we set up years ago when we bought our first iPhones together. The early messages were tame, flirty but deniable. Great meeting you today, looking forward to working together. You made that presentation way less boring than it should have been. Grabbing coffee before the meeting if you want to join. Then they escalated. I can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? This is wrong, but it feels so right. My husband doesn't touch me anymore, not like you do. That one felt like a knife in my chest, because it was a lie. I'd tried, I'd reached for her, initiated, been rejected over and over and over until I finally stopped trying. She didn't want me to touch her because she was already being touched by someone else. More texts. I think I'm falling for you. Last night was incredible. I've never felt this way before. I'm wearing the lingerie you like, wish you were here to take it off. Lingerie I'd never seen, lingerie she'd never worn for me. There were photos, not nudes, though I'm sure those existed somewhere, but worse than nudes, intimate photos, the kind that show emotional connection, not just physical. The two of them at a restaurant I'd never been to, some upscale Italian place downtown, his hand on her thigh under the table, her head on his shoulder, looking at him the way she used to look at me. A selfie in a car, his car I guessed, her in the passenger seat grinning, his hand on her knee. A mirror pic in a hotel bathroom, both of them in the frame, her in a robe, him shirtless behind her, arms wrapped around her waist, kissing her neck. She looked happy. Genuinely, radiantly, undeniably happy. Happier than I'd seen her in years, maybe happier than she'd ever been with me. That's what broke me, not the cheating itself, but the happiness. The realization that I wasn't enough, that I'd never been enough, that she'd found something with him she'd never had with me. I found a voice memo, dated 3 weeks ago, 47 seconds long. She must have recorded it by accident. Probably her phone was in her purse and the voice memo app activated somehow. I almost didn't listen. Some part of me knew that whatever was on that recording would destroy me, that I couldn't unhear it, that it would live in my brain forever. I clicked play anyway. I heard her voice, breathless, laughing, that genuine, unguarded laugh she used to have with me. Then his voice, low, intimate, familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. You're so beautiful, does he even know what he has? Her response, immediate, no hesitation, he doesn't look at me like you do. Silence, rustling fabric, then her again, softer, I should leave him. My heart stopped. His voice, do you mean that? Her voice, uncertain now, I don't know, it's complicated, the house, our families, everyone thinks we're perfect. He laughed, are you perfect? Her response, no, but we were once, or I thought we were, now I don't know, now I just feel numb when I'm with him, but with you, I feel alive again. The recording cut off. I sat there in the dark in my office in the house we bought together, listening to my wife confess to a stranger that I made her feel numb. I didn't cry, I wanted to, but the tears wouldn't come, just this empty, hollow ache in my chest, like someone had reached in and scooped out everything vital and left me with just the shell. She came home 3 days later. I picked her up from the airport, arrivals terminal. She came out with her rolling suitcase and a conference tote bag, looking tired but satisfied. She kissed me on the cheek, again. Told me about the conference, the sessions she attended, the people she met, how inspiring it all was, how energized she felt. She talked the entire drive home. I barely said a word, just nodded, smiled in the right places, asked basic follow-up questions. How was the keynote speaker? Did you get to see any of the city? Was the hotel nice? She answered enthusiastically, lying to my face, easily, effortlessly, like she'd done it 1,000 times before, and she probably had. I didn't say a word about what I knew. Here's what most people don't understand about betrayal: it doesn't destroy you all at once. It's not an explosion, it's a slow leak, a pressure building, a foundation cracking. At first, you're in shock, your brain refuses to process it. This can't be real, there must be an explanation, a misunderstanding. Then comes denial: she wouldn't do this, not her, not us, we're different, we're strong, we're in love. Then bargaining: maybe if I'd been more attentive, more romantic, more present, better in bed, funnier, richer, more successful, more something, maybe this is my fault. Then anger, the kind that makes your hands shake and your chest feel like it's caving in. The kind that makes you want to scream and break things and hurt someone the way you've been hurt. And then, if you wait long enough, if you sit with it long enough, comes something worse than anger. Indifference. And indifference isn't a stage of grief. It's the death of love. I didn't confront her right away. I know people think that's weird. Why didn't you just blow up, scream, throw her out, confront the guy, burn it all down? Because I needed to see it. I needed to see who she really was when she thought I didn't know. I needed to see if she'd confess, if guilt would eat her alive, if she'd come clean and beg forgiveness. She didn't. So I watched. She kept seeing him, different excuses now: girls' night with Rachel, late work meeting, spin class, grocery shopping, every excuse a lie, every lie delivered with a smile. I tracked her phone, found her location history. She was at his apartment, a place in Capitol Hill, Tuesdays and Thursdays like clockwork, sometimes Saturdays too when she said she was running errands. She'd come home, shower immediately, crawl into bed next to me and scroll Instagram like nothing happened, like she hadn't just spent 3 hours in another man's bed. One night, about 3 weeks after I found out, she rolled over and put her head on my chest. She whispered, "I love you." I said, "I love you too." It was the first time I'd ever said those words and not meant them. I felt nothing, just numbness, like my body was there but I wasn't. I decided to end it on a Saturday. No drama, no screaming, just facts, cold, undeniable facts. I waited until she was in the living room, scrolling her phone, half watching some reality show about people fighting over wedding dresses. I sat down across from her, not next to her, across distance. I said, "I know about him." 4 words, quiet, calm, final. She froze. Her face went white, then red, then white again. Her mouth opened but no sound came out, then stammering, What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean." Still lying, even caught still lying. I pulled out my phone, I showed her the texts, scrolled slowly, let her see her own words, her own lies, her own betrayal. Then the photos, each one a little knife, her face crumpled more with each image. Then I played the voice memo. Her voice filled the room. "He doesn't look at me like you do." She started crying, hands over her face, shoulders shaking, apologies poured out, frantic, desperate. "It didn't mean anything, it was a mistake, a stupid, terrible mistake. I'll end it. I'll do anything. Please, please don't leave me. I love you so much, please." I just stared at her, studying her, like she was a stranger, because she was. I said, "I'm not leaving, you are. You have until Monday to find somewhere to stay. I've already talked to a lawyer. Divorce papers will be filed next week." She looked at me like I'd slapped her, like I'd betrayed her. "You don't want to try, go to therapy, work on this, fight for us." I almost laughed, the audacity, the entitlement. Work on what? You've been fucking another man for 8 months. You looked me in the eyes every single day and lied. You let me touch you, kiss you, love you, knowing where you'd been, knowing what you'd done. You compared me to him, told him I don't make you feel alive. There's nothing left to work on. It's over. She collapsed onto the floor, full breakdown, begging, pleading, bargaining. I'll do anything, anything. I'll quit my jobs, cut off all contact, go to therapy, let you track my phone. I'll prove I can change. I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not vindication, nothing. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, locked the door. She slept on the couch that night. I heard her crying until almost dawn. She didn't leave Monday or Tuesday. I didn't force it, didn't call the police, didn't escalate, I just existed around her. I stopped talking except when absolutely necessary, stopped touching, stopped looking at her really. She became invisible to me. I was a ghost in my own house. She tried everything to get my attention, to get a reaction, to get me to feel something. She cooked my favorite meals, pasta carbonara, pot roast, homemade bread I ate alone in my office. She wore lingerie to bed, tried to initiate, I slept in the guest room. She wrote me letters, long, tearful confessions, apologies, explanations, promises. I left them unopened on the counter, threw them away eventually without reading a single word. She ended it with him, or so she said. Blocked his number in front of me, showed me her phone, cried and swore it was over, that she chose me, that she wanted to rebuild. I didn't care because here's the truth, it didn't matter if she ended it. The person I loved was already gone, and the person she claimed to be now, this remorseful, broken woman, I didn't know her either. 3 months after I confronted her, we were still living in the same house. Separate rooms, separate lives, cohabitating strangers. She'd started therapy, individual counseling, journaling, reading books on infidelity and rebuilding trust. She left them around the house like breadcrumbs, hopping I'd notice, hopping I'd care. I did nothing, no therapy, no reading, no processing. I just worked out, existed. One night late, almost midnight, she came into my room. The guest room that had become my permanent bedroom. I was reading some sci-fi novel I'd read before, comfort reading, escapism. I didn't look up. She sat on the edge of the bed. I felt the mattress shift, smelled her shampoo, the same shampoo she'd used for years. It used to comfort me, now it just reminded me of everything I'd lost. She said, "Can I ask you something?" I didn't answer, didn't look up from my book. She asked anyway. "Why don't you want me anymore?" I put my book down slowly, deliberately. I looked at her, really looked, for the first time in weeks. She'd lost weight, too much weight. Her face was gaunt, eyes puffy and red-rimmed from crying. She looked small, fragile, broken. She looked like someone I used to know a long time ago. I smiled, not cruel, not kind, just factual, honest. I said, "Because you gave away what was mine." Silence, heavy, suffocating. She blinked, confused. What does that mean? I leaned back against the headboard, took a breath. You gave him something that was supposed to be ours, not just your body. Anyone can fuck. Bodies are just bodies. You gave him your intimacy, your laughter, your excitement, your passion, your energy. All the things you used to give me, you gave to him, and once you gave it away, it stopped being special. You stopped being special. You stopped being mine. Her face crumpled. But I'm here now. I chose you. I came back. I ended it. Doesn't that mean something? You didn't choose me. You chose safety. You chose the mortgage and the ring and the shared bank account and the idea of not starting over. You chose not being alone. You chose familiarity. But you didn't choose me, because if you ever really chose me, you never would have left in the first place. Tears streamed down her face. Do you still love me? I thought about it, really thought about it, gave her the courtesy of honesty. I don't know, I think I love the person you used to be, or the person I thought you were, but she's gone. And I don't know who you are now, and I don't think I want to. She whispered, "Can you ever forgive me?" I don't know, maybe, someday, but forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. I can forgive you and still never want to see you again. She left the room quietly defeated. I went back to my book, didn't finish the page. We divorced 4 months later. No fault, uncontested, she didn't ask for much, didn't fight, didn't demand. We split everything down the middle, sold the house. I took a loss just to be done with it. She moved 2 states away, back to where her parents lived. I heard through mutual friends she's seeing someone new, someone from her hometown, high school sweetheart reconnection or something. I hope she's happy. I genuinely mean that, not because I forgive her, not because I've let it go, but because I don't think about her enough anymore to feel anything. And that indifference, that's how I know I've healed. I went to therapy, 6 months of weekly sessions, not for her, for me. Because here's what nobody tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart, it rewires your brain. I struggled with insomnia for over a year. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that photo, heard that voice memo, replayed every lie. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. in a panic, heart racing, drenched in sweat, convinced I'd heard something. A text notification, a whispered phone call, evidence of another betrayal. I didn't date for 2 years, couldn't. The idea of trusting someone again felt like volunteering to be hit by a car. My therapist said I had betrayal trauma, that it mimics PTSD, intrusive thoughts, hypervigilance, emotional numbness. She said it was normal, expected, survivable. She said, "You're not broken, you're injured, and injuries heal, but only if you let them." It took time, longer than I wanted, but slowly, incrementally, I started to feel again. Not love, not yet, but hope, curiosity. The idea that maybe one day I could let someone in without waiting for them to destroy me. People ask me now, "Do you regret how cold you were, how detached?" No, not even a little. Because my coldness wasn't cruelty, it was survival. She wanted me to rage, to scream, to fight for her, to prove I still cared. Because if I did, it would have meant she still mattered, that she still had power over me. But silence, indifference, that meant she'd lost me completely. And that, for her, was worse than anything I could have said. So why am I telling you this story? Not for sympathy, not for validation. But because if you're here, maybe you've been here too. Maybe you found the texts, seen the photos, heard the excuses. Maybe you're lying next to someone right now who feels like a stranger. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not just when it's convenient. You owe yourself that. My ex-wife asked me why I don't want her anymore. And I told her the truth. Because she gave away what was mine. But here's what I didn't say. She gave me something too. Clarity. The woman I married is gone. The man she married is gone too. And in the wreckage, I found myself again. If you've been betrayed, you're not alone. Choose yourself, always.